This is the PTI Smarter Venues podcast.
Welcome to this PTI Vodcast. Today we're looking at how the difficult times that COVID has presented to us require smarter ticketing outputs. My name is Mike Bohndiek and I'm the CEO at PTI. And I'm delighted to be joined by Francis, CEO at 3D Digital Venue. Francis, if you mind just introducing yourself and your company.
Yes, good morning, Mike, and thanks for inviting us to the podcast. I'm Francis Casado. I'm one of the co-founders of 3D Digital Venue. So we've been in business for pretty much 8 years, and our expertise relies on virtualizing venues using video game technologies. So after that, we apply different services such as helping venue refurbs, ticketing, season tickets, and more recently, how to provide solutions for social distancing for this pandemic.
So you talked there in normal times, pre-COVID, a big part of your business was around helping people to leverage premium seat sales and season ticket sales and ultimately generate more revenue out of their ticketing products. I guess that's been hugely impacted by COVID as it stands.
Yeah, unfortunately, as everyone is aware, the ticketing business has been hit hard. And as you can see, depending on the region and depending on the players that you are talking to, they have many different thoughts, but it's true that vast majority of ticketing partners are completely shut down. So all venues came to dark, and now it's very difficult times. Some companies are spending their time just trying to figure out how to come stronger after this crisis. And unfortunately, others are just waiting to see if this thing ramps up to a very positive situation in the next 3-4 months.
Absolutely, yeah. And at PTI, we're seeing a similar thing where people are turning increasingly to technology and digital at this stage, with venue revenues turned off and ticketing and hospitality and items like that out of the question. Digital's been the way that people have gone. Technology can certainly play a role in the fight back for venue reopening, and I guess as we're now sort of 2 to 3 months into this, depending on where you are viewing this in the world, people are starting to think about how you reopen. And you guys at 3D Digital Venue recently launched an offering to help people plan for that. How is that going?
So this is going very well, to be honest. So we are surprised how well people have received this initiative. So as you may know, we mentioned it, we are expert on digitalizing these venues with information that comes from the architect. So as a consequence, we know very well the measurements, we know every parameter of the venue, and we thought, hey, why don't we apply these? And we try to generate algorithms to generate different layouts that could be more convenient for venue manager, box officers, just to understand the different configurations that they could apply to their venues in order to maximize their revenue, So it's true that there are many other hot topics such as access control, such as how do you provide food and beverage to your seat, and how do you evacuate people if you have a problem within your venue. Yesterday, we were having a conversation with a US client that was saying, hey, our season ticket holders are concerned if they are sitting down and they are in front of, on a particular event, and if they need to go to the toilet, how do they do that? Do they ask the entire row just to wake up and go to somewhere else? So these are the challenges that may look stupid, but this is the reality that we're facing.
Yeah, and as you say, it cuts across two sides, doesn't it? There's the commercial impact that a venue will reopen, but naturally none of these venues on a global basis are going to reopen at 100% capacity, either from a government or legislative point of view, but equally from fan confidence and fan desire to return to that venue so soon after. You've then got the operational challenges, as you say, the simple things of what does ingress and egress look like to ensure that you're not creating queues. Certainly the typical kind of English football mentality is often arrive at 5 to 3 for a 3 o'clock kickoff and arrive late. So there's going to be a big piece of communication. What are the sorts of challenges that the clients are suggesting back to you at the moment? And how are you seeing that?
So obviously we are very close to the ticketing partners, and the challenges that we are facing and the challenges that they are facing. So it's vast majority of them are concerned about ticket refund protection. How do you handle that? Okay, this is a hot topic, obviously. A lot of clients have started to asking us, hey, do you have any particular idea how we could provide some sort of pricing similar to an airline style, you know? So where you have, for instance, one option with low prices and you don't have the option to transfer and resell your ticket. A second option where you have a higher price and allows you to transfer but not resell, for instance. And maybe a third option where you have the highest price and you have no transfer or resell restrictions, you know? So these are the kind of things that they are talking to us. So other hot topic is how do you kill seats in the real stadium itself, you know? So we are talking about social distancing, but what does it mean? For, as you mentioned, operational costs are an issue, but imagine that you have ushers, they take care of the users, but if someone just gets in and goes and sits to a seat that is not allowed to get in, how do you kill the seat? Do you put just a cover? Do you remove physically the seat? This is a conversation that we are having with the architects, because as you can imagine, you have normally a row of seats or a physical structure that has six seats in a row, and if you remove it, you remove 6 seats. You cannot just remove them individually, you know? And then everyone is now very scared if we can implement mechanisms for controlling ticket resales. You know, now if I'm a family of 3 members and I can go to a particular match, but I'm going to free my seats for the next event, who's going to come to my seats? It's going to be another family. It's going to be 3 individuals. Can they sit down together? Do we need to relocate them again? So that these are the challenges that we are hearing the most.
And it's, I guess it's got to be a lot of innovation coming out of the technology side of it. If you think of the simple example that ticketing platforms are most often built to avoid single seats. You're trying to actively avoid being left with single seats dotted around the venue so as to get people to come in pairs or in threes, and suddenly there's potentially the need to have lots of single seats to manage that piece. How have the ticket providers been responding to the required innovation to drive this piece?
Yes. I'm pretty sure that you know that, but ticketing platforms normally, they are more concerned or on their back end, and they don't have, let's say, solutions or algorithms just to solve these singularities, you know? So we are seeing a lot of requests from our clients, and I'm surprised because I was expecting them to request single seats and doubles. And the reality is clients and ticketing partners, they are asking for combinations of chunks of bigger seats. For instance, yesterday in a conversation with Staples Center, they were requesting groups of 8 seats, for instance, okay? So how can you maximize, for instance, your premium areas? When you go to a premium area, is because you either go with your family or you either go with a group of friends that are close to you. So you expect to have groups of 2, 3, but a lot of groups of 4 and 8 seats together. So this is the only way where you can have, let's say, a capacity maximized or optimized up to 40%. But this represents a challenge because, as I said, this works for a single event, but what happens with next event? So what we're seeing is this layout needs to be dynamic, and it's going to change from match to match. It really depends on supply and demand.
I guess that's a great point in that general admission ticketing is obviously where people are kind of focused from a social distancing point of view, because that's where your mass market is. However, actually your revenue is locked in your hospitality deals, which naturally comes with fewer people, but actually bigger groups. So whilst you might have, let's say, 30,000 fans in a venue in general admission, they're largely coming in 1s and 2s, even if they're then sitting in groups of people, whereas hospitality might be coming in tables of 10, tables of 12, boxes of 16, super boxes of 20, etc. And that modelling. Are people leaning more towards dealing with the hospitality problem because of the revenue impact from your point of view?
Yes, it's not a secret that 20% of the seats generate 80% of the revenue for vast majority of our clients. And the challenge that they have right now, it's not only related to the space itself, but it's around the services that you can provide, right? So yesterday, a client of us in the US also, they were asking, hey, how can we deal with the restaurants? How can we serve food and beverage? How can we deal with, additional services like my parking lot, et cetera, et cetera? So they were very concerned on how to manage these additional packages that normally are allowing to change the client mindset just to go to the match, you know? Now people, they are very scared, and it's true, they prefer to go to the premium areas because it's a closed environment. I have my private seats, but at the same time, if they are not allowed to go to the bar and to have their drinks and interact with people, it's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it drives the need for integrated thinking at the venues and within the clubs as a piece as to what they're actually trying to achieve. And I say, when you look at match day operations in venues, they are generally quite siloed between the car parking attendants, as you say, right through to who's managing the bar, might be an outsourced catering partner, through to who the concierge is in the premium suites, who might be a contractor or an agency member of staff, through to the venue general manager, who's going to be responsible for the whole thing. Who are the sorts of stakeholders you've got around the table at the moment who are having these conversations? What types of jobs and roles are you talking to get the thinking going?
So these days we are the vast majority of times talking to the marketing guys, operations guys, and sometimes the guys in charge of ticketing. So ticketing, many could be just regular ticketing or premium seats. Okay, so this week and last week we were in certain calls where you had the head of premium seats, then the guy in charge of marketing and operations, and obviously the guys that need to sell tickets, because they need to coordinate with their box officers and with the guys that are around just providing the support, and it's a challenge because as I said, it really depends on the geography, it really depends on the country. In Europe, depending on the country, it needs to come first from the government, and then it needs to be certified by the leagues themselves, and after that applied to the teams. In the US, for instance, each state is different, and they can apply different regulations. And this is really a challenge, because they are changing these laws from month to month. And as I said, maybe we apply something that works right now, but it's going to change next month.
Yeah, absolutely. We touched earlier on the concept of fan confidence in coming back to venues and delivering those pieces. Do you think that the modelling work that you're doing with venues and the clubs being able to promote that back out to their fan base is going to help to generate some of that confidence in terms of people understanding how social distancing can be observed if they want to return?
We hope so. So we create these algorithms not only to show the view from your seat, but also, for instance, if you arrive to a particular venue and you park your car, we understand and we create the best path to your seat. So you can have like a walkthrough showing you where is your access, where is your parking lot, which gate do you need to use just to go there, how many stairs do you have, is it interesting to use the elevator or not. And with this, we can create or calculate the expected flows of people just to figure out when it would be ideal to come to the event itself. Because as you said, in the UK and also in Spain, it happens that everyone goes just 5 minutes prior to the match starts. And this generates a lot of people just on the line. And this is something that we need to avoid right now.
Absolutely. Well, it's great that you've got such a detailed offering out there and clubs are able to tap into it. Just in closing, from your experiences, what would be the sort of the top tips that you would give to people working in ticketing or working in the industry at stadiums, at venues at the moment, in how they go about considering this if they're just starting that thought process?
So I believe it's not a secret that now planning is the king. So you need to sit down and plan with your whole team and just figure out which is the best situation and the best scenario possible. You need to run a lot of simulations, and this is where we can help. There's not only one solution. So maybe you have an idea of maximizing the number of seats to your venue, but maybe it's even interesting just having low level of seats and providing a better service if you can just complement this with food and beverage and additional services. So it's a trade-off, and obviously every team is different. They need to create their mini business plan. And again, for me, planning is the key, and simulating everything beforehand is the only element that is going to help you taking decisions and figuring out the right plan.
Great. Well, Francis, thanks very much for your time, sharing your insight and sharing your expertise. You've been watching a PTI Vodcast. If you'd like more information on the 3D digital venue offering and their work with PTI, then head to PTISmartervenues.com. Thanks for your time. Stay safe and keep well out there. Thank you, Francis.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to the PTI Smarter Venues podcast. Find out more about us at PTISmartervenues.com.